Today, we're diving into a new wave of AI that promises to do way more than just add another app to a teacher's plate. We're talking about a fundamental change in how we train and support educators. So this isn't about new tools, really. It's about a whole new way of teaching.
You know, we have to start with this really important question. For years, the mantra has been more tech in the classroom. But is all that tech actually helping our teachers? Or is it just adding another layer of complexity to an already demanding job? For so many, the reality is a frustrating tangle of cables, logins, and error messages, not some seamless educational utopia.
And that leads us to this image that is, honestly, all too familiar. The tethered teacher. Just picture it. You've got this amazing, passionate educator who wants nothing more than to connect with their students. But where are they? They're stuck at their desk, fiddling with a remote, trying to get a video to play. They're anchored to the front of the room, managing tech, when they should be out there sparking curiosity. It's such a huge missed opportunity.
And you know what's kind of wild? A lot of the professional development we give teachers actually makes this problem worse. Think about it. Most training is about the mechanics, where to click, what menu to open. It focuses on mastering the tool, not elevating the craft of teaching. We're teaching the software, but we're forgetting about the soul of the lesson.
But we are at a really exciting turning point. There's a whole new category of tech emerging, and people are calling them AI classroom orchestrators. And I want you to think of this less like another gadget to manage and more like a co-pilot for the teacher, right? Imagine just saying, hey, start a 5-minute timer for the group activity, and it just happens. That's the kind of seamless support we're talking about.
So this brings us to this brand new concept, instructional orchestration. What is it? Well, it's the art of letting an AI assistant handle all those little logistical things. You know, playing the right video, switching the screen, setting timers. This frees up the teacher to focus on the most important part, the human beings in the room. They're no longer the tech support person. They're the conductor of this incredible, dynamic learning experience.
And this is where professional development gets a massive upgrade. Instead of learning clicks, teachers are learning new skills. They're learning about spatial pedagogy, how to teach from anywhere in the room because they're not tied to a desk. Their situational awareness goes through the roof because they're looking at students, not screens. They can give that crucial feedback right in the moment. And, maybe most importantly, they learn how to be the strategic director of their AI, not just another user.
So, okay, that's the big idea. But what does this actually look like on the ground? What does it feel like for a teacher day to day? Well, let's dive into some of the data and see how this shift really can take an educator from a state of constant stress to one of pure strategy. Check this out. A 2024 study from the University of California, Irvine is incredibly telling. After just 7 weeks of using one of these AI orchestration systems, teachers reported a 14% average reduction in what researchers call technostress. And technostress is that very specific anxiety that comes from juggling devices and worrying about glitches. You know, that feeling that you're one wrong click away from the whole lesson falling apart.
And this isn't some small fringe effect, no way. That same study found that a huge majority, we're talking 61% of teachers, reported an overall drop in their tech-related stress. That is a massive win for teacher well-being, and it just shows you what happens when you simplify the whole tech experience.
But it goes beyond just stress levels. Teachers are getting back their most valuable, non-renewable resource, time. Research from Digital Promise found that teachers using these systems reclaimed a whopping 16% more time for actual teaching and learning. Think about what that means. That's more time for those one-on-one conversations, for asking deeper questions, for creating those aha moments that are the whole reason they got into teaching.
And what happens with all that extra time is so important. It's not just, a few more minutes to grade papers. Schools are reinvesting it into really high-value collaboration. So instead of spending their planning periods trying to figure out why the projector won't connect, teachers are actually getting together, digging into student data, and really honing their craft as a team.
So when you start putting all these pieces together, you realize we're not just talking about a handy new tool. We are talking about a complete reimagining of what a teacher's role can be in the modern classroom.
And maybe the most powerful way to think about this shift is this classic idea. For so long, the model was the sage on the stage, the teacher at the front, dispensing wisdom. But now they can become the guide on the side. They're mobile, they're agile, they're kneeling next to a student's desk, engaging in the real, messy, beautiful work of learning, side by side.
Let's just break this down. Look at this comparison. Before, the technical focus was troubleshooting. Now, it's about directing an AI with simple commands. The classroom presence goes from static to mobile. Lesson prep goes from endless searching to AI-assisted curation. But that last row, That's the real game changer. Cognitive load. All that mental energy that was spent just managing the tech is now freed up to focus entirely on the students.
But this story is about more than just making things easier or more efficient. Something really profound happens when you strip away all that technological friction. The tool itself becomes a kind of mirror, forcing us to ask some much deeper questions about the very nature of teaching.
Think of it like this. The AI starts to handle all of the doing. You know, the clicks, the timers, the transitions, all the little logistical tasks that used to eat up so much of a teacher's time and mental bandwidth.
Which frees them up to truly master the why. Why are we doing this activity right now? Why is this the right question to ask this specific student at this exact moment? It allows them to evolve from being a manager of tasks into a true architect of learning. Researchers have this fantastic term for it. They call it a metacognitive mirror. Now, metacognition is just a fancy word for thinking about your own thinking. By offloading the doing part, the AI basically holds up a mirror and prompts teachers to reflect more deeply on their instructional purpose. And that, as the research suggests, might just be the most powerful form of professional development there is.
So we end here. If an AI can handle the orchestration of the classroom, freeing up our educators to focus on human connection, on strategy, on purpose, well, then the future of teaching looks incredibly bright. It's a future where technology doesn't just support teachers, it unleashes their full creative and professional potential. And you have to wonder, what amazing new heights of artistry will our teachers reach when they are finally truly untethered?